at the grounds of the Law Society of Kenya to make a press statement on the death of Advocates Edward Muthee Kariuki and Esther Wairimu Keige, and a notice of a nationwide Advocates March for Justice. We are also going to address issues of rule of law and impunity. As we begin, my name is Charles Kanjama, President of the Law Society of Kenya. I'm joined today here with Vice President Teresia Wavinya of LSK, convener of our Public Interest Litigation Committee, that is Wycliffe Oyo. We also have our co-convener of the Lawyer Police Liaison Committee, Muthee Gashara. We have our CEO of LSK, that is Madam Florence Muthee. We have Council Member Vivian Ease and Board Member of Advocates Benevolent Association, Wakesho Kililo. So I will read the statement and then there will be a few additional remarks. The Law Society of Kenya has received with profound grief and outrage confirmation of the death of our colleague, Advocate Esther Wairimu Keige, after weeks of anxious searching and hope that she would be found alive. We extend our deepest condolences to her family, friends, and colleagues at the Kenya Forest Service and the entire legal fraternity. This devastating loss comes barely 48 hours after the brutal murder of Advocate Edward Muthee Kariuki, who was found murdered outside his residence in Athi River on 5th July 2026. The death of two advocates within the span of a single week in mysterious circumstances is not an isolated coincidence. These deaths amount to an attack on the legal profession, on the administration of justice, and on the rule of law. It sends a chilling message to every advocate who faithfully discharges their professional duties and raises serious concerns about the security of officers of the court and all those entrusted with defending the public interest. The Law Society of Kenya condemns these heinous acts in the strongest possible terms. We call upon the state to discharge its constitutional obligation to protect life, uphold the rule of law, and ensure that those responsible are brought to justice without delay. The Society, through its Lawyer Police Liaison Committee, has remained engaged with the families and continues to follow up with the investigative agencies. We shall remain actively seized of these matters and will pursue every lawful institutional, legal, and advocacy mechanism available until justice is served. Accordingly, the Law Society of Kenya demands: 1. The immediate establishment of a high-level multi-agency investigative team comprising the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and other relevant agencies to investigate the deaths, identify the causes, any perpetrators, collaborators, and other persons who may have orchestrated these crimes. 2. A comprehensive forensic audit of all contested land acquisition, leasing, and alienation matters handled by the Kenya Forest Service Legal Department over the past 12 months to establish whether Advocate Esther Wairimu Keige's death was connected to the discharge of her official duties and to identify any persons or entities that may have benefited. 3. Immediate security interventions and institutional protection for advocates serving in public institutions and regulatory bodies whose work exposes them to threats from criminal syndicates, corrupt networks, and other unlawful actors. 4. The immediate institution of a transparent mechanism through which the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and other relevant state agencies shall provide regular updates on the status of investigations arrests, prosecutions, and other enforcement actions arising from these deaths, together with the immediate implementation of concrete measures to protect advocates whose professional duties expose them to threats, intimidation, or violence. The Society further calls upon all investigating agencies to conduct thorough, expeditious, professional, and impartial investigations. We equally urge any person with information that may assist the investigations to cooperate fully with the authorities. The legal profession cannot discharge its constitutional mandate where advocates are subjected to violence, intimidation, or murder with impunity. An attack on an advocate is an attack on the administration of justice itself. In honor of our departed colleagues and in defense of the rule of law, the Law Society of Kenya hereby declares Friday, 10th July 2026, a day of national solidarity for the legal profession and announces a nationwide Advocates March for Justice. Advocates in Nairobi shall assemble at the Milimani Law Courts parking from 9 o'clock in the morning, with a procession commencing promptly at 9:30 a.m. All participants are requested to attend while formally dressed and don a purple ribbon as a symbol of remembrance and unity. Simultaneous marches shall be held across all LSK regional branches under the coordination of their respective branch leadership. The Nairobi procession shall proceed peacefully from Milimani Law Courts to the National Police Service Headquarters, where the Society shall present a petition to the Inspector General of Police demanding urgent action on the safety of advocates and the expeditious investigation of these murders. All participants are directed to maintain the highest standards of professionalism and dignity throughout the procession. The march shall remain peaceful, orderly, and firmly anchored on the Constitution and the law. The Society calls upon every advocate, judicial officers, law students, and every person who believes in justice to stand with the bar on this solemn occasion. We also invite our partners in civil society, professional associations, and constitutional commissions to join us in affirming that violence against officers of the court has no place in a constitutional democracy. The Law Society of Kenya will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. We will pursue justice for our fallen colleagues with resolve until those responsible are identified, brought before the courts, and held accountable in accordance with the law. Signed by the Law Society of Kenya President on behalf of the Council. Let me add one or two additional remarks. In addition to the violations relating to the legal profession, the Law Society of Kenya is also very concerned with recent violations we have seen on the rule of law, including the culture of goonism, intimidation, impunity, and disobedience of court orders. We have taken note that the moment human rights defenders, civil society organizations complain, it seems that those responsible make a retreat only to come back and repeat the very same actions of impunity. So as the Law Society of Kenya commemorates this March for Justice on Friday, we shall also be announcing measures that we will be taking to fight the culture of impunity and ensure individual as well as command and vicarious responsibility. The Law Society of Kenya has a responsibility under Section 4 of the LSK Act to support and promote the rule of law and to assist the government, the courts, and all Kenyans on matters of the rule of law. The same way that the legal profession occupies a sacred and important place in a constitutional democracy, so does the media which is recognized under Article 34 of the Constitution. Freedom of the media is of tremendous importance to secure our democratic space. Even for us as lawyers, we need the help of the media to document instances of violations and to share the information you've collected in the course of your work with us so that we can secure individual and, as I said, command and vicarious responsibility. So the Law Society of Kenya strongly condemns any action to infringe on media freedoms, and we are ready to stand together with the media and collaborate when we find that those actions are actually violating constitutional rights and affecting the democratic space. We, as the Law Society, just like the media, are not politically partisan players. Our job is to support Kenyans to exercise their civil and political rights. We must be allowed and enabled to do so, and then the Kenyans will make their decision at any point in time in accordance with the Constitution.